Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how weak spirits will not address you personally. You know what I mean? And the only time they will address certain things personally is only when they have that anger, energy, and emotion. That's usually what they have to conjure up in order to address you personally. And when you've been out here operating in this world for a while, and even if you still new, you know what I'm saying, in your teens, early 20s, like, you done ran into beings and you will run into beings who have no problem using their throat chakra, you know what I mean? Meaning, like, addressing situations pertaining to you, addressing certain topics or subjects that they want to talk about. You know, just people who don't have an issue with opening up. And usually these people, you can normally tell that they are usually spiritually strong beings, even if they don't know it at the time. You know what I'm saying? And if you're younger, you may have not even been pulled all the way over to the opposition team, you know, because you're going to start off over here with the creator. That's why you see the enemy, the witchy motherfuckers, they always want pure this and pure that. I need a pure soul, I need a pure baby, I need a pure human, a pure child. They want things before it's all the way diluted because of the energy that possesses and that comes with it. So these weak spirits, they, you know, they don't have to do things with ill intention to be a weak spirit. But we all know it's only two playbooks out here, and this witchy playbook is what's leading. So a lot of times you'll have people, like, they'll much rather text you opposed from talking over the phone with big subjects and shit, you know what I'm saying? Or you'll have somebody email you, you know what I'm saying, opposed from addressing you on a FaceTime call or in person, you know what I mean? So, like, a lot of these things is like tactics that make it easier for the opposition, the enemy, to communicate, because you have to have balls in order to use your throat chakra when your energy is in motion, when you're communicating with people out here, you know what I mean? It's not always the easiest thing in the world. I know people say, oh yeah, just use your throat chakra, just use it. It's not that easy. If it was easy, then we wouldn't be in this chaotic space that we in, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of beings will do things like make videos, you know, about you, but then they will not address you personally. These kind of beings are extremely weak and witchy beings. You know, you have to understand which playbook that they are using, why they have to come at you, or why they won't approach you, you know what I mean? So it's like everything with them has to be done like behind closed doors, or they have to like utilize one of their flying monkeys' energy to help them get something done. You know what I'm saying? Because I did just make a video about how we can help and heal, but you also got the witchy motherfuckers who put batteries in each other's back. You know what I'm saying? Which we all heard that saying when we was young. You know, you gassing them up. You know what I'm saying? You putting energy in their back. You know, so even with that saying right there, us hearing that and knowing that, we already understand that we are a lot more than just these physical vessels. You know what I mean? So if we knew that you gassing somebody up by using your words is giving them more power and energy to actually go do something, then why wouldn't it be the same way, you know, for the opposition when all this witchy shit is going on? To me, I would just take the same approach. Like, all right, well, this being is willing to send a long ass text message, you know, but they won't address me in person if they, you know, I seen them in passing, or we was at, you know, the job locations or whatever, you know, however you may run into them, or however I have ran into them. But I know personally for me, you know, with the witchy motherfuckers, it's all a game. It's never about being honest or upfront. It's always all about a game. To them, it's a game, but to us, it's real life and it's our life, you know? So we don't put the same emphasis on game the same way they do. So if somebody's willing, so the way our playbook on this team will work, right? If I make a video talking or addressing someone, 10 times out of 10, I've already talked to that person prior before I even made that content. You know, and I'm just speaking per se, not anything pertaining to right now. We all been making content for years and years, but that's what I'm saying. So if I address them personally per se while making the content, you know, before I made the content, then why would I not be able to address them personally in their face if that's the case? Why if there's a situation that still continued afterward, why would I be afraid to communicate with them on the phone, via FaceTime, in person? You know, why would I have to point them to my video opposed from addressing them personally with that direct energy? It's because they demonic and they're witchy. You know, so I didn't say ill intention, I'm just saying demonic and witchy, meaning that they're using the playbook to cast these weird spells that's doing all this weird shit, you know what I'm saying? And they're doing things without any clarity. You know, if you reach out to somebody to address a situation, you know what I mean, and then they be like, well, I don't want to talk about it, or they be like, did you see my text message, or did you see my video, or I already posted it, I already talked about it, or did you see it? Like, no, motherfucker, I didn't. That's why I'm calling you, or that's why I'm trying to reach you in real life time, because I didn't go through the digital lane. I'd rather go to the direct source. That's how I am. I want to go to the direct source of what's popping. You know what I mean? So you should be able to address that being in person as well too, or via the phone, you know, whether it was FaceTime or video chat, you know what I mean? Like, you should still be able to address them, unless you are just extremely witchy and this is how you choose to operate, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, when you have motherfuckers who operate like that, they only hurting themselves in the long haul. Like, they think they're getting rewarded by the little shit that they're doing, but in all actuality, they're actually using their energy the wrong way, and they have a reciprocation of all the misconceptions. It's kind of like this. You go over here to this apple tree, right? But somebody done took the time to make the apples look like big ass cherries. You know what I'm saying? They done changed the color. They done went through and painted them or sprayed them. You know what I'm saying? So the whole time you thinking that, oh shit, these are cherries. You know what I'm saying? Then after a while, you get a couple that done drop down and fell, and you be like, oh shit, these are oranges. I meant cherries. These are cherries. These ain't even, this not even what it was supposed to be. This is how these motherfuckers communicate. This is how these motherfuckers operate. And straight confusion, no clarity, no direction whatsoever. You know what I mean? So, and then you have a lot of people out here that you will communicate that's like that. That is, they're thinking that, okay, these are cherries in this tree because society said these are cherries. Society told you these cherries, motherfucker. Then once you take them down and they fall off, and then you realize, oh shit, this ain't even the fruit that society said it was. This is something else. So the whole time you projecting your energy out and teaching and telling them, motherfucker, these are cherries, until you actually get a hold of them and you do the search yourself and you examine it and you look at it. You be like, oh, this came right off. What the fuck? Oh, this look like my apples. You were passing along information that came from this playbook over here. That's just a small example. You know, you don't have to fucking take that per se, but just a small example. And just understanding that, like, a lot of their communications is from the other playbook. I don't tell people or go through long, drawn-out disputes anymore, you know what I'm saying? Because if they don't understand that it's two playbooks, then you might as well just automatically put them over into one playbook. You have to know that it's two playbooks. How could you say you're a good person if you don't believe in bad? That's the opposite. How could you believe in positive if there's no negative? They go hand in hand. So when people say weird shit or do weird, confusing shit like that, just minimize how much energy you give to them. You know? Ask questions when you communicate. If you get a chance to communicate, to figure out how emotionally vested are you in to this subject or this engagement that you having right now? Because I done had a lot of engagements, and there will be more engagements, and we all gonna be engaging more, where you're gonna have to realize, all right, this motherfucker is speaking clear confusion. It is very clear that this motherfucker is confused. I mean, how many times do you tell them as clear as you can, hey, this is A, this is B, and this is C? And then they hit you back with some weird shit that don't even have anything to do with what you're discussing, and it makes no sense in what the fuck they're spewing out. This is their job, to keep us in a confused, chaotic state. You know what I'm saying? So once you just start understanding, like, they only are really attacking when we are self-sabotaging ourselves. So that, because they're weak as fuck, you know what I'm saying? They are extra weak. And with them having this shit going on, you know what I'm saying? Just like, you just have to assess and process the situations as fast as you can. And that's what I usually tell everybody in real life too when I'm engaging, like, because every situation is different. So it wouldn't require the same treatment. So it's like when you go to the hospital, except it's not the hospital. You know, in the hospital, you're going for different physical things. They're going to give you treatments for different things. It's the same thing out here spiritually when you're engaging and communicating with people and you're using comparisons. Do not be afraid to compare. We are humans. It's what the fuck we do. It's what the fuck we do. You know I'm wearing this hat? Because my peoples made the merch, and I already liked the style of these hats long time ago. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that we have to understand that we do compare. We're humans. It's what the fuck we do. It's just not being naive about it and not using it as something that's harmful or hateful when you're doing your comparisons, or like some kind of belittle comparisons. You know what I'm saying? You want to stay away from that kind of shit when you are doing comparisons. But if you comparing, like, say for me, for instance, like, I liked Young Pharaoh. I used to tap into his channel and shit in like 2015. I followed him for like 4 or 5 years, but then he had a bunch of weird shit happening, so I stopped following him. But I liked his tapestry he had in the back. So when I was traveling, when the vid happened, and I was down in Florida, and I was looking through tapestries, the yellow black one just happened to come to me. So it happened to match his colors, but I definitely still fuck with the vibe and liked it. But it wasn't like me trying to copy him, but it was just in comparison. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how we are in nature and humans. You know what I'm saying? And when you have tribal cultures, or like animals who are like, you know, like tribal families that stick together, kind of like the wolves, the dogs and packs, like all of these different things. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to be comparison and just using it on a healthy spectrum. You know what I'm saying? If your neighbor figured out a faster way to grow the corn, then you can look at his process and do the same thing. It's not a competition, you know what I'm saying? You feeding the family and taking care of the tribe and community as well too. It's just you got the witchy motherfuckers who got that weird ass perspective and assume everybody processes the way they do, and we do not. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.